worst case, we would be out, we would go back to Friday or Saturday, actually. The previous Saturday, depending what day of the week of the
Glad you
disaster would
addressed
happen.
Gene, is the,
And there's more. I just wanted, I didn't want, the youth services, Jim Nicola's, the health director and his assistant. I think there's 40-some PCs. There's really a small minority that aren't backed up.
Gene,
I can't say 100,
Can
yeah.
I assume that on the data, on the servers somewhere, there's personal information?
Yes, there is in the financial side, and I think the
Payroll info.
payroll, and also the assessors actually have some, I think they record some application information for that's confidential.
Are the backup drives that you remove from the building encrypted?
No,
That's something.
that's a good, I see where that's a good point.
Same thing with laptops that have personal information on them.
Point's well taken, yeah.
It's interesting that our legislators create laws that have our business community responsible for doing just that and maintaining actually a written process of how they deal with a breach, but all municipalities are exempt. It's just mind-boggling.
Yeah, you know, a year ago, I think that was originally, because it was to be implemented in January of 2010, and I got a whole bunch of information to take to my boss, Greg, to say, well, look, we've got to do this. And come to find out that that's under the aegis of the Secretary of the Commonwealth. And he has to promulgate rules and regulations that are separate, and you're right, they're just, there's nothing like that. CMR 201, I think.
Guidelines are pretty good.
What's that?
The actual business guidelines are pretty good. You know, if you follow that, I mean, I think it's good, just sound practice.
We actually incorporated some of those into our IT policy. Just the generalities of the data breach requirements, the sound business practices, we've
Yeah.
done it.
So just something that you probably should take the steps to. It's not difficult to do that.
Yeah, I've called the state, and they're the director of technology services, Dave Davies, and he said it was they were under no requirement, or the Secretary of the Commonwealth hadn't promulgated, so they don't push it. But it's still, the need is there, and if it is compromised, I think you have a real good point.
I'm sure the drive that you take goes directly to your house, but you know, we've had people that the backup tape never leaves the car.
Right.
You know, the guy takes it, customer takes it and puts it in his car or his truck,
Yeah.
drives around for a week and then changes it, you know. And, you know, someone took the truck and the data is out there, so, on the
That's good.
car.
Yeah, the point's well
Should be
taken.
encrypted. Anyway,
I appreciate,
you don't have to spend a lot of money to do that.
No.
I do appreciate your
Most of it's free.
You make them sleep with it on?
Exactly.
I appreciate this board's support. I mean, it's been very supportive of the technology department. I can see so many things that still need to be done, so it's like, but I appreciate you seeing the other part of it too.
I think all that you have to do is look back about 7 or 8 years ago, where we were, you were there,
Yeah.
where we are today.
I appreciate that.
You guys should be commended.
Any other questions for Gene? Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Over a couple of items.
I just want to bring up, now that we've concluded each department, I just want to bring up something
Do we have to close the hearing, by the way?
Really?
Is that public hearing? I'm sorry.
It wasn't,
Okay,
no,
I'm sorry.
this wasn't hearing is this meeting.
said I probably have
Sorry.
one too.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Probably have a few of them.
Sean, go ahead.
The books.
As I had discussed with Greg by email at the end of last week, it's my suggestion that in light of the fact we have a public hearing currently scheduled for this week of school vacation, I'm proposing that we postpone that hearing 1 week. I've been hearing from a number of people who would like to attend the public hearing due to the fact that it's school vacation, they're away, not going to be here. Most of the people I've heard from are pretty actively involved, and I think it'd be a disservice if we conduct a public hearing relative to the budget during the week where those folks will not be able to be present, at least to be able to participate, be here, watch it on television. So I'm proposing this board decide to move out that public hearing 1 week.
As I recall, Sean, I've got the same calls, and I thought about it, I even discussed it with Greg once, and it seems to me that when we were picking our meeting nights, I had difficulty, we talked about not having a meeting that week.
Right.
Yeah.
And we went into the next week, and then we went backwards. So,
Yeah, I don't know
Greg
what
and I
happened.
kicked around the end of last week, moving it out to the 25th, I believe.
25th, right.
okay,
So is that-
so was there a, can everybody make the,
I
it
can
seemed
do-
to
I
me there
can
was a
make the
problem
25th.
with that.
I'm good.
If everyone's okay with it, it's okay with me.
Bob,
Yes,
from what I recall, I think didn't pose a problem. I think you asked if everyone was here because unlike February vacation, we had 2 board members that were away.
yeah, but I
I
thought we,
think that was the conversation. I think it was just more
Yeah.
to ensure that everyone was available
that could be,
on April.
that could be.
Yeah, because, I don't know.
So there wasn't a conflict that I can remember or recall.
I don't know, I thought there was somebody that could, we went to a bunch of different
Right,
days.
I
Maybe it
do
was on that
recall.
week or
Yeah,
something.
maybe.
That's exactly
But
the
that
way it was.
works
Exactly,
for you,
as you
Steve?
described.
It was us.
Yes.
That was the issue.
Yes.
Okay, so given that, I have to then ask the question, getting back to our overall schedule, when does the warrant get mailed?
You asked me one question, I don't know. You have to make your budget decisions by May 2nd. That's the critical date.
Really?
Yeah, to print it in the book?
Absolutely, yeah, and I don't want us
Oh, man.
to print the warrant and then do a handout this year. We've moved the meeting, we should be prepared to have
Yeah.
everything
It's
in
a
the,
fairly simple process considering
we
the
meet
fact
with
we
the
have
schools
limited
again?
monies.
and that's why, that was another reason for not pushing the meeting up.
Gave us more time to.
If I may ask, we have to have it done by, did you say the 2nd?
You have to vote it by May 2nd.
The 5th, okay? And that's because it takes X amount of time for that to be printed?
Yes. Printed, mailed, everything.
Whatever
Do we have a
decisions
faster,
we make, it
someone
has
that
to
does it
be.
faster?
What?
Do we have somebody that does it faster?
Yeah, we go as fast as we can. We need a month to time.
As far as the printing is concerned, I mean, or is it our setting it up?
No. It has to be received in the hands of residents a certain number of
Right.
days before town meeting.
Right, no, I
There's
understand
all
that.
types of statutory requirements in the charter and the bylaws that these documents have to be received by residents a certain number of days before town
Right.
meeting. That's what really drives the process.
I
Is these
understand that.
documents have to be in people's hands X number of days before town meeting.
We have to give the administration time to take our recommendations, put them in the.
So,
I understand.
I
that,
tell you
too.
what I'd be happy doing. I'd be happy keeping our meeting on the 19th, do some more work on the budget, and then have the public hearing on the 25th, or whatever the date is.
we have the
That'll work.
19th, you mean the 18th?
No,
18th 's a holiday.
Oh, that's
It's
right.
a holiday.
19th, and then the 25th. Then I'd feel a lot more comfortable based on where I think we are and
Yeah.
the.
I would agree to that.
That's fine with me.
So we'll do the hearing at 7 o'clock on the 25th.
Correct.
Public hearing on the 25th.
I know we have it on our iPad, so I apologize that I don't know exactly where it is. I know you gave us a schedule, it was very
did.
good, very good
Yeah.
detail. So the process now is, when do we meet with the schools, a joint meeting with them? That's on the 25th as well?
No joint meeting.
There's no time.
We don't have a joint meeting.
We don't have a
with them
joint meeting.
Not on schedule at the moment.
Oh, okay. My bad. So we don't have one with them.
19th with the hearing on
We
the
have this
25th, right,
Friday
Sean?
a financial planning team meeting.
Meeting on the 19th with
We'll
the
be
hearing on the 25th.
discussing an updated revenue plan. And based on that, we will flush out the impact, they'll flush out the impact of the budget shortfall. Similarly, Greg will take that back and then start to work his recommendations associated with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To balance out the budget.
to balance the budget.
Okay.
Michael, what you may be thinking of, the school department has their budget hearing next Monday.
Okay, maybe that's what I was thinking. All right.
And I would encourage board members to attend.
Yeah, Sean and I went to the workshop the other evening. It was really valuable for me, and they certainly have a massive hill to climb. And they've been doing an excellent job. what we saw, and it was very good. So, you said you're gonna do a new revenue plan. Is that because did you get information from the House, or is there anything new information?
We don't have new information from the legislature. Joe has done some work at looking at 3/4 worth of local receipts.
Okay. So at least you have something to work with.
And,
Yeah,
whether-
I'm not anticipating major changes.
No,
Yes.
our revenues to this point in the fiscal year, our real estate collections as of February 1st, 3/4 of the way through the year for tax collections, we're at 76%. That's a good sign.
Very good sign.
Our motor vehicle excise tax collections, through the same period of time, we're at 88%. So in terms of our two major revenue sources, we're doing okay. We're tracking online at this point. I wouldn't be necessarily aggressive in terms of increasing those amounts, but we're tracking for this year.
My understanding is the state had a pretty good month of March, what I heard coming in this evening, in terms of,
Nice to hear.
hopefully that may
As well as
translate into.
tax payments.
Okay.
Greg, I thought you'd mentioned at the last financial planning team meeting, you and Joe were gonna look through other accounts, that there may be some money we can scrape together there somewhere.
One of the questions that came up was about relative to the use of trust funds. It was one of the things that I wanted to look at, particularly with regard to the library, cemeteries, and Parks and Rec were the major ones that could utilize that. There are also some additional funds that would be available that I've identified that we look to close the budget gap with.
So
And I can roll out that
So
information
we're
for you
looking
next
at,
meeting.
we're looking, consider closing the gap with one-time sources of funding.
I didn't say that.
It's not on there anymore, but I think, as you
It is.
recall, we talked about.
It's hidden.
It's hidden. We talked about this is where we are now, and if we can
I understand, yeah.
fill in with one-time money some of that gap, and we have to make some decisions. I mean,
Well-
whatever we're using.
I don't think, I agree with that slide, but that's your slide, your perspective on it. Mine's different than that.
No, I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
That's.
You say fill in the gap, but there, the way I would do it, there is no gap. It's gonna be, you're gonna look at 2012 and 13, looking to me, what I see and what I read, what I understand is gonna be pretty damn close to the same. I'm not as optimistic as you about that uptick,
Well, I'm not.
which goes along with what you're saying, Steve. I support what you're saying. It's kinda dangerous road to be using one-time money again, like we've done in the past. But again, everything's on the table.
That's what the
I
budget
think
might
it's on
be
the
at.
table for discussion, Michael. That's.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just making a point that, I don't wanna use that as,
Well,
gospel
when I
here.
talk about one-time money, I'm not talking about the stabilization fund or things like that.
Free
We're
cash.
talking about just cleaning up some stuff that's sitting there.
okay, thank you for clarifying, because I wasn't sure.
That's not the intent.
So-
There is one thing that we have some leftover debt stabilization money that we had put in this year's budget extra, and we're not spending it, so I don't feel uncomfortable with using it. 2012 budget. Again, it's a board decision, it's not mine.
Well, if I could only ask if you're meeting with the financial planning team on Friday, and you're gonna have an update on the revenue numbers, if it's possible, we just get a copy a day or two afterwards, would be fine.
I think Joe, when he has the new revenue plan, he'll send it to everybody, there's no.
Email it.
It'd be helpful.
Unless you have any changes, I really don't have any.
Yeah, we'll sit down before the meeting.
Yeah, it'll be, Greg and I are meeting Wednesday, and we'll talk about, that's one of the items. We're looking at preparation for the Friday meeting.
Okay, maybe I'll pop in.
But the number we have
Yeah.
is,
Please do.
the number we have is still 157, right?
Well,
That's pending
it's pending if we
contract
wanna make some
negotiations.
adjustments.
Pending contract negotiation.
Joe and I were having a conversation, I'm sorry, I did not hear that question.
I just asked if the number we're still working with is $157,000 shortfall.
Right now?
That's for level funding.
Level funding.
And then we've already highlighted some items, not
Mhm.
the big gigantic